Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining me. Trying to give you a good aerial view of what I want to show you. Hello, Dime a Dozen. Hi, baby. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you. See if I got enough view there. Okay. Trying to get it together, baby. Trying to get it together. Okay. So you all can get a good view. I'll step out the way here in a minute. Hold on one second. Let me talk to you guys for a minute. Thank you for joining me. This video is pertaining to the many lies of Don and Candy Wells, all the lies they've been spinning pertaining to June 15th and the disappearance of Summer Wells. You've been hearing about the Cornbread Mafia. There's been a lot of talk about this entity, this organization. I'm going to bring you said information. But before I get started, I want to send out my condolences and prayers to Young Dolph. Many of you who do not follow the rap industry, there has been a terrible incident that took place in Memphis today, and I'm going to read you the said information. Fox 13 is the source, and I will make a separate video pertaining to this rapper's demise. Rapper Young Dolph shot and killed in Memphis, law enforcement sources confirmed. This was uploaded at 3:24 p.m. 3 independent law enforcement sources confirmed to Fox 13 that rapper Young Dolph was shot and killed in Memphis Wednesday afternoon. Maurice Hill, the owner of the shop where the shooting up happened, Makita's Butter Cookies, told Fox 13 his employees said Young Dolph, 36, walked into the store to buy cookies. Someone then drove up and then shot and killed him around 1 p.m. on Wednesday at the bakery in South Memphis. Young Dolph was there just a week ago spreading love and promoting the businesses. And they have in this said video of him on Twitter where I guess he's standing outside the business, I'm assuming. This is very horrible news. They have a Jeremy Pierre of Fox 13 who's at the scene at the time they took pictures. You can also go find this information on Twitter or Fox 13 News. The rapper, whose real name is Adolph Robert Thornton Jr., is well known in the Memphis community. In 2016, he released his debut studio album, King of Memphis. As Fox 13 crews reported from the scene, a massive crowd gathered around, some people laying on the ground in tears. Young Dolph is well known for handing out turkeys around Thanksgiving in Memphis through the Memphis Athletic Ministries charity, speaking to school children and donating money to his former high school, Hamilton High School. Young Dolph was supposed to pass out turkeys at St. James Missionary Baptist Church in Memphis this Friday between 2 and 5 p.m. The Memphis Police Department said another person was with Young Dolph at the time of the shooting. Traffic in the area is shut off on I-40 in the area. Traffic is also at a crawl. Shortly after the news broke, people took to Twitter to share what Young Dolph meant to them. Rapper Gucci Mane said that his heart is broken by the news, calling Young Dolph a close friend. As the chaotic scene unfolded, a white truck pulled up to the scene with a man requiring medical attention. That man appeared to have been shot and was carried away on a stretcher by paramedics. Young Dolph leaves behind family, including his cousin, fellow Memphis rapper Key Glock. No information about the shooter has been released by police at this point. I will bring a separate video and update pertaining to this story when I get it, but my condolences to his family and the community, because I know how important it is to have our African Americans doing something positive in the community, such as giving back and donating to charity. And obviously, this is a plight that he had. He gave back to the community, and this is a tragedy. I don't know why he was murdered, why he was shot, why they chose to shoot him at a cookie store, which is cowardly. If you had beef with Young Dolph, you could have approached him somewhere else in the street. So obviously he was followed there. Somebody knew he was coming. I don't know. I'm assuming he was followed, because how do you get shot at a cookie store? Now, naturally, the article I read before said his Lamborghini was parked outside. Perhaps many people in the city know of his car. And all it takes is for the wrong person to find out that's where you are. Oh, his car's parked here. Pull up. And that's the end of the story. Condolences to the family of Young Dolph. I will now get into my commentary pertaining to this BS pertaining to the bio donors of Summer Wells, this Cornbread Mafia myth, and all the shenanigans of Candy crying when this name of this entity was mentioned on the Dr. Phil show. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Thank you all for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans. If you want to donate to the channel, $BigAndrew129 Cash App.
Starting screensaver.
Now it's cut off. I knew that was going to happen. Hold on 1 second, because that TV won't sit very long on. Okay. There's a book that's been written about the Cornbread Mafia. It's called The Cornbread Mafia, Homegrown Syndicate's Code of Silence and the Biggest Marijuana Bust in American History. This book was written by James Higdon, Higdon. If you need a source and would like to tune into the book or get it on audio. It says here, in December 1987, Johnny Boone set out to grow and harvest one of the greatest outdoor marijuana crops in modern times. In doing so, he set into motion a series of events that defined him and his associates as the largest homegrown marijuana syndicate in American history, also known as the Cornbread Mafia. This was originally published on November 8th, 2011, and the author is James Higdon. If you want to find the said book, you can get it on Audible, Kindle Store, and Barnes & Noble. When you go into wikipedia.org, you will get the said information. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you all for joining me. You will get the said information pertaining to Cornbread Mafia, and I will read you the said information if you need verification. The Cornbread Mafia was the name for a group of Kentucky men who created the largest domestic marijuana production operation in United States history. It was based in Marion, Nelson, and Washington counties in central Kentucky. The term Cornbread Mafia was first used in public by federal prosecutors in a June 1989 press conference, where they revealed that 70 men had been arrested for organizing a marijuana trafficking ring that stretched across 30 farms in 10 states, stretching from southeast into the Midwest. The story was first reported in the Courier Journal magazine in Louisville, Kentucky on October 8, 1989, and then in 2012 in the narrative nonfiction book, The Cornbread Mafia, a homegrown syndicate's code of silence and the biggest marijuana bust in American history, 2012, by James Higdon. In his two books, The Origins of the Cornbread Mafia, a memoir of sorts, 2016, and Cornbread Mafia, The Outlaws of Central Kentucky, 2018, author and founding member Joe Keith Bickett chronicles his firsthand account as to how the term Cornbread Mafia was coined in Kentucky in the late 1970s and the group's ultimate downfall in the late 1980s. Bickett wrote his memoirs, The Origins of the Cornbread Mafia, a memoir of sorts, and Cornbread Mafia, The Outlaws of Central Kentucky, while incarcerated in the 1990s, but did not publish his books until several years after his release from federal prison in 2011. And that is the said information pertaining to this information of the Cornbread Mafia. So it is a name of a group of Kentucky men who created the largest domestic marijuana production operation in the United States history. This was a long, long time ago. This is dating back to the 70s into the 80s. And these men were rounded up and sent to prison, jail. And one of the founding members was released in 2011, it says here. He did not publish his book until his release in 2011. This is Mr. Bickett, The Origins of the Cornbread Mafia. I bring you a source always. I don't talk about things I don't know about. I always bring a source. Even if I don't know much about the information, I bring you a source. That way you can have something to verify. I'm not going to sit up here and talk about an organization or entity that I don't have any information pertaining to its origins. So you now have this information. If you'd like to verify anything I've said in this commentary, you can log on to Wikipedia pertaining to the information about the Cornbread Mafia. Is this entity still around? Do they got some spinoffs in Rogersville, Kingsport area? Any of these entities still going on that could have possibly kidnapped a kid? Most people have said no, that are experts in the field of law enforcement. Nobody believes anybody from that entity has anything to do with the disappearance of Summer Wells, and I think we all know that. And why Candy Candace, whomever, teared up at that time when that was mentioned by Dr. Phil, I don't know. Some people speculate she was already in the hot seat, upset, didn't want to do an interview, was ready to go. And when he said that, it triggered something in her to cry. We know that she's a grand actress, such as her husband, because she called Mary, the stepsister, on a phone call that was recorded and put on that her husband had been taken by the feds. So if she can put on that instance, in that instance, when we already found out later that he was not taken by the feds, then we also know she can cry on a whim on any subject matter in front of people. She can play comatose, act like a mummy on a given day or night. And it seems that theatrics gets put on at nighttime. So one could say this is when Candy and Don are geeked up, is in the evening hour. They like to get crunk when it's nightfall. It is what it is. And also remember, these are the same people who were rearing small children. So it goes to show you this is who they are. And they were these people when they reared children. And as Dr. Phil would love to say, you cannot change what you don't acknowledge. Thank you for joining me. I want to make sure I get all this information out pertaining to this storyline. Thank you all so much for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans. Yes, I'm sick of them too. How you doing, Pretty K? Thank you all so much for joining me. I appreciate the love. Thank you so much. I'm humbled. Amen. As most of you know, I brought you information pertaining to this Cornbread Mafia mess. And thesun.com has an article at the moment. It's called Inside the Cornbread Mafia that saw missing girl's mom storm off of Dr. Phil. That's one source if you'd like to go in to get that said information. I just want to make sure I'm bringing you everything pertaining to this storyline. I'm going to go ahead and go into my community page where I've got information uploaded pertaining to this storyline. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you. Thank you, Jamel. Thank you, hon. And thank you for the few decide to tune in. Amen. You can go to my community post to get said information pertaining to everything that I've been bringing you. WJHL is the source for this second source I'm going to bring you pertaining to the Cornbread Mafia. It is in the YouTube queue if you need verification. WJHL has done an interview, and it's called What is the Cornbread Mafia? A law enforcement expert's perspective on Summer Wells. I'm going to find it over here. Play it. Hold on one second. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you all so much. It's always some shenanigans with these people. I mean, you can't get a break from them. Never seen people that can just lie on a whim. Every day it's a story. Hello, darling. Thank you for joining me from the UK. Amen. Hello, Nubian. Thank you. No, I do not know about their latest hoax. I told you I don't keep up with everything they do. I also want to play something from Profiling Evil as well. What is the Cornbread Mafia? Law enforcement experts' perspective on Summer Wells. This is uploaded 4 days ago by WJHL. It's in the YouTube queue. 1 second. Thank you for joining me.
disappearance in June, and she reports on one of the biggest takeaways from the Dr. Phil show.
Josh and Sarah, we took a look at the Google Trends in the past day for Cornbread Mafia. As you can see behind me here, plenty of hits followed. The related topics kept getting closer to Summer's home: Hawkins County, kidnapping, Phil McGraw, Rogersville, and Summer.
You have to actually look at what is organized crime.
There are distinct factors, starting with the existence of a chain of command and a means of moving money.
You usually see money flowing from the bottom to the top.
No trouble.
You usually see some type of identifier via tattoos, the type of clothes that individuals are wearing, colors, stuff of that nature.
That's not what you get out of this 80s era organization who got their start moving marijuana, not children.
At this point, it's more of legend and folklore versus actual possible reality.
Candace Bly's reaction was unmistakable, but the cause of her stress could be misunderstood.
You know, we don't know what the triggering effect is. It could have just triggered her for something else and not necessarily their involvement with or possible involvement with her abduction or disappearance.
Dr. Phil used specific words when he told Dawn and Candace what he thought of their involvement.
Hey, King.
My understanding is Dr. Phil says to the family, and he makes it specific, and he says in her murder and then the covering or removal of the body. He doesn't say anything else about trafficking or anything of that nature. So I found that kind of unique that he worded it in that way.
Dr. Phil's words and the parents' reactions are certainly taking center stage in the 2 days of episodes.
To me, as a former investigator, it doesn't say a lot to me that the way they're acting, the way they do. What I want to look at more is the statements that they're making, their body language, and how they present themselves. That's what I'm going to look more at versus the number of times they get before a camera.
But the organization may well exist, says our expert, but no structure exists to pull off Summer's disappearance.
So I think it's more of a code of silence versus an actual organized operation.
Stanton says he trusts the agencies leading the investigation into what happened to Summer Wells. He told me today that he believes this case will be solved, and it's just a matter of when.
Ansley, thanks. You can see all of our coverage on the search for Summer Wells right now on WJHL.com underneath the News tab.
Okay, that's information pertaining to the Cornbread Mafia. This expert spoke with WJHL. He doesn't believe there's anything to it. If it may be something that's nothing as the magnitude as it was before, it possibly has nothing to do with the disappearance of Summer Wells. That is source number 2. I'm going to go ahead and get started with my commentary, and then I'm going to play you some information from Profiling Evil. This is called the Cornbread Mafia of Kentucky, Kentucky Crime News Network.
There's been a lot of stuff paid for and bought by moonshine. Have you ever drank any moonshine?
I don't think I've ever drank it.
Well, don't ever drink it unless you put it in a saucer and light it. It'll burn real pretty blue, but they don't mess with it because it's poison.
In this swath of southwestern Kentucky, they still talk about moonshiners and revenuers.
It's almost if each generation's dabbled slightly in the criminal element.
Taking with them a deep suspicion of law enforcement and their efforts to control the local vices.
Most of those that are involved in marijuana will tell you their great-grandfather was a moonshiner.
Thank you, Flora.
Marijuana. With so much open land in the bluegrass state, pot growers are everywhere, hiding their crops beneath power lines or camouflaging them in cornfields.
Don't say no, just say grow. You got a good picture of it? He causeth the grass to grow for the cattle and herb for the service of man.
Reading from the Bible.
Fruit out of the earth. God gave us the seed to grow the weed.
And
Wow.
they say no one in Kentucky is better at growing that weed than Johnny Boone, also known as the king of pot and the godfather of grass.
So therefore I see that Johnny Boone has never broken the laws of the big book. Only mankind.
There ain't nothing bad I can say about the man.
In places like Springfield, where Abraham Lincoln's parents married at the downtown courthouse, Boone's neighbors describe him as a venerable Santa Claus.
He upsets the community, donates money, helps people who need money, He's a good guy. He ain't no hardened criminal like all of those guys.
Not according to the troopers who fly all over Kentucky, searching for hidden marijuana crops from the air, then hiking for miles in rough terrain to destroy them.
You can see where these plants have long root on, so they've been there a while. And they say the eradication process is just that, picking it up, and then we take it to Chevy, chop it up into small pieces, and start over here on the property.
Even so, authorities know there's always another crop close by, growing, just like Johnny Boone's legacy.
What he's done is he has cultivated thousands of pounds of marijuana that he's distributed nationwide.
Becoming a superstar in a criminal syndicate that law enforcement calls the Cornbread Mafia.
They were actually distributing to Cuba, Jamaica, a lot of the island places off the coast of Florida.
But this is more than a story about the war on drugs. According to police, Johnny Boone isn't just a good-hearted, pot-growing Robin Hood, but a bipolar, bar-brawling crime boss whose closest associates seem to end up dead.
Through different interviews, you find out a lot about Johnny Boone. A lot of people don't know him.
Now, they were saying that they didn't kill people.
For example, here's Boone's 250-acre homestead. It looks peaceful from the air, but he embellished the property with animal bones, allegedly as an ominous warning to potential pot thieves.
I've heard that he had rattlesnakes in the marijuana fields with the wrappers cut off so they wouldn't give a signal before they attacked.
He loved his Rottweiler. He's been known to cut the vocal cords on the Rottweilers, and he would starve them, so that way they become quite vicious.
Cut a dog's throat.
Behind you.
Okay.
Grab a hold of them before you know.
You don't know people. Thank you, Teresa.
In reality, it's hard to figure out exactly what occurred on the farm, since pot thieves don't talk, and Boone and his admirers claim to live by omerta, the code of silence long invoked by Italian-American mobsters.
They don't feed us rat poisons because we're not rats. We won't say nothing on each other.
What cops say is Boone imported seeds from as far away as the old Soviet Union and Afghanistan, breeding plants that yielded a more potent high, and transporting his product in ways that were both ingenious and disgusting.
Apparently, there's a special place you can cut on a cow where you can remove certain chunks of fat. They would tightly wrap the marijuana, enclose it inside the cow, sew the cow back up so nobody could see it, and ship the cattle across the United States.
In 1981, Boone apparently learned police were planning to raid his property. Cops say he immediately jumped into his pickup and gunned it at a group of officers, leading them on a long chase through Kentucky's back roads.
In the meantime, the whole entire marijuana grow was removed. And when the state police and stuff went out there to raid that farm, there was nothing to be found but a large empty plot.
The incident inspired a local singer to compose this ode to Marion County's most famous outlaw.
John Robert Cook is the man. Made his living off of God's gracious land.
But in 1987, the law caught up with Boone when he was sentenced to 20 years for growing nearly 200 tons of pot, worth more than $1 billion by today's standards. With Johnny behind bars, his son Jeff allegedly ran the operation, spending some $200,000 to build himself a home next to his father's.
When Johnny was released from jail, he was not happy with Jeff at all for using that money.
After one argument, cops say, Jeff was found with a gunshot wound to the head.
And it's officially ruled a suicide. But you never know. I mean, you are dealing with Johnny Boone.
3 years later, Boone's girlfriend Rosa gave birth to another son. Police say Johnny was overjoyed, believing the boy to be the reincarnation of Jeff. The relationship with his mother, though, would soon end badly.
Johnny had a falling out with Rosa. She threatened him with going to the police with the information she knew that could incriminate him. Next thing you know, her parents were getting a phone call saying that Rosa hung herself in a bar.
In May 2008, While flying over Boone's property, troopers say they spotted more than 2,000 marijuana plants. Given his past criminal history, Boone was now facing life.
Layla.
Immediately after the arrest warrant came out for Johnny, he kind of went on a drinking binge. It was non-stop drinking. Since that point, Johnny Boone's been on the run from the law.
Thank you, Layla.
More than a few local citizens have been spotted in this T-shirt, urging Boone to keep running.
If he would have run against Obama, you'd have Johnny Boone for president.
Is that right?
Yep.
That many supporters, huh?
He would have had a bunch of them. They won't catch Johnny. He's got too many friends. I'm being truthful with you.
He's got too many friends.
Looking for a ghost.
Maybe he knows Candace and Don.
Of course, Johnny Boone is no
Granddaddy.
Cops say he's a violent, unpredictable fugitive. Boone is a vegetarian, fond of Native American rituals. He can remain sober for long periods of time, but when he drinks, cops say he's a mean, menacing man. If you know where Johnny Boone is tonight, please call our hotline at 1-800-CRIME-TV.
Now, as you heard Angeline say, Boone follows a code of silence used by Italian-American mobsters called omerta. And here in Boone's own flowery handwriting is his interpretation of the code. Right here he writes, always have a clear view of right and wrong, to do right without reserve. Well, what's clear is that Boone doesn't take this very seriously. Now, we know he looks a lot like Santa Claus, but we also know that cops say he's a deadly, ruthless drug lord. They say he's highly intelligent and speaks fluent Spanish. He may own an airplane as well as property in Belize. So if you know where he's hiding, please don't be afraid to come forward. Call 1-800-CRIME-TV with your tip. And I give you my word, you can remain anonymous. Do the right thing. Give us that tip.
Coming up, he seemed to have a big heart, but it also had a big, disgusting secret.
That was John Walsh, everybody. In case you all want to check it out, Kentucky Crime News Network, 16,000 views, published on October 17, 2018, 13 minutes and 24 seconds long. That's the said information, everybody. Let me go into Profiling Evil. Thank you all so much for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans. If you want to donate to the channel, $ Big Angie, 129 Cash App. Thank you so much. Thank you for the support. And there are probably some people in Tennessee that do make moonshine, let me say that, but I do remember people going at one time to Kentucky to get moonshine. Hi, Pat. How are you? Thank you so much for joining me. Profiling Evil, everybody, is my third source.
Hopefully, law enforcement's getting closer than ever to solving this child's disappearance.
Yes, probably. He's in the trailer.
Now saying that Don and Candace Wells didn't have anything to do with Summer Wells' disappearance. If so, why did she fall apart when the word Cornbread Mafia was mentioned? You know, this whodunit is getting clearer, and hopefully law enforcement's getting closer than ever to solving this child's disappearance. Well, thanks for joining Profiling Evil for this quick review of some of the crazy crime stories circulating this week. Now, before we get started, I want to invite you to take a moment, hit that like and the subscribe button, and ring the bell so that you get notifications on all our videos.
Thank you, Floor. Thank you so much.
That way you get
Thank you,
the
Tracy.
newest stuff when it comes out. Well, earlier this week, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigations provided their own update on the search for missing 5-year-old Summer Wells. It's now been 5 months since that child mysteriously disappeared from her Rogersville, Tennessee home. From the very beginning, people started pointing fingers at her parents, Candace Bly and Dawn Wells. And from the beginning, I was cautioning everybody to wait in casting stones, wondering what information law enforcement may have that we, the public, simply do not. But social media doesn't wait. It's gone wild with angry accusations, and it hasn't stopped there. Summer's parents recently reported that they continue to fear for their safety, and they share stories, horror stories of people exploiting them, all in an effort to get views on YouTube or likes on Facebook. This week, investigators took to the media themselves to report that they're seeing another increase in misinformation, bad information that's being spread online about the case. I hope that we'll all rethink our posts and comments. Personally, I'd hate to think my frustration in this case, and especially my words, would do anything negative in the investigation. Now, TBI in their press release said, quote, "We want to be clear that we're doing everything within our power to find her. We continue to work daily with Hawkins County Sheriff's Office and the FBI to determine what happened to Summer." No one is more frustrated than us by the lack of answers at this stage. However, we haven't given up and we won't, close quote. Well, as they continue to conduct ground and aerial searches, including searches in the waterways, talk show personality Dr. Phil shared his thoughts on national television this week. And what he said is blowing some minds. He said he doesn't believe that Candace or Dawn had anything to do with the disappearance of Summer Wells. I've said from the get-go that we just don't have enough information to say whether they do have responsibility or not, nor, frankly, is it our right. But let's listen as Dr. Phil shares his feelings about this couple.
Okay.
Advertise and 18 seconds.
Sorry about that.
Analyze surveys as a team.
You know they play commercials.
Work smarter, double suggestions.
I've done this a lot, and I trained as a forensic psychologist, looking psychology in the law and the forensics involved with human behavior and conduct. And based on the timeline and the factors here, it's very clear to me, based on the facts, that neither one of you did anything to hurt your daughter.
From the beginning of this case, I've said that we've got to remain open to the possibility that Summer could have wandered off on her own and succumbed to the elements. I mean, the area is filled with rugged and rocky areas, waterways, nooks and crannies. This is an adventurous little girl. That is so evident by the way she plays in her yard, the videos from her at the church. She's independent and aggressive. Now, while considering this possibility, I also got to remind you that we can't discount that her parents or someone close to her could have caused her death or her disappearance. We discussed the facts that there are examples where missing children have been rescued months later. Think about people like Elizabeth Smart or more recently,
Nancy, please, you're killing me.
Sometimes these kids make it home, and we have to remain hopeful that that's what's going to happen with Summer.
He may have been playing them.
We also have to remember that Dawn has held firm in saying that Summer was abducted. But then we saw this really interesting exchange on the Dr. Phil show where Candace was asked if she did anything to Summer. Now listen to her resolute response. Then they ask if she knows what happened to Summer. Again, a resolute response. And finally, watch and listen for her response when she's asked, do you know who took Summer?
Yes, I'm going to have to ask you some more questions. I told you this. Did you do anything to Summer?
No.
Do you know what happened to Summer?
No.
Do you know who took Summer?
Well, without question, we have to consider the possibility of abduction, which brings me to that interesting moment when Candace completely fell apart as she was being interviewed by the panel experts. When they mentioned the words
DD, be nice. Play nice, you guys.
She completely lost it and she shut down. Eventually got up and walked away. Why?
You know, what about those fellas that live around there in the Cornbread Mafia? Well, Cornbread Mafia.
That's what we call them.
I have no idea. I've heard about some hillbilly mafia type stuff and everything, you know, and all these different boys. And we tried to steer clear from all these.
This is one of them.
And stolen all of my mechanic tools at one time. You know, when they knew we were gone. They knew me and her were together.
Can you just hang on?
Anything fine.
Anything on your question?
Who is he speaking of? They knew we were together. They who?
Advertising.
Sorry about that, you guys.
1 second. Five.
Very special place.
Skip yes.
It's a
Button.
home for all these.
Suggestion.
Strange. Very strange.
Kentucky men who became known for their marijuana operation in the state of Kentucky. The name was coined by federal prosecutors in 1989 after they arrested more than 70
Hello, darling. Hi,
drugs
Reese.
trafficking. The group is described as highly
Hello, baby.
motivated
Hello,
and
Melanie.
well-financed, not to mention the demand they have on its members to remain absolutely silent. Well, let's see if this significant event leads to more information about the group and possible ties to the case. It could be that Candace just couldn't take another interview.
Dee Dee,
But I
please.
suspect that the immediate response we saw when the Cornbread Mafia was mentioned means there's more to this story.
Denise, he knows a lot about
Hey, folks, and don't forget, TBI keeps asking about the red or maroon Toyota truck. They continue to look for that vehicle, stating it's a 1998 to 2000 Tacoma. It has a full bed ladder rack and white buckets in the truck bed. Now, they refuse to say why this is an important vehicle, but they do say that it is not a suspect in Summer's disappearance, hoping that maybe it's a witness. The TBI is asking anyone with information about the Wells case to call 1-800-TBI-FIND or contact the Sheriff's Office in Hawkins County at 435-272-7121. Well, make sure you check out that 2-episode series on Dr. Phil's interviews with Summer Wells' parents this week. I thought it was captivating and telling. And while you're at it, if you're doing a little Dr. Phil binging, catch the episode this week on Dennis Westenhoff's murder. It was personally an honor to appear on that show and to continue to support the Westenhoffs in their pursuit
What was
for
edited out?
justice. So, what do you think about the interview?
Exactly, Dee.
Possibility
Who said the
of
red truck
Cornbread Mafia being involved in Summer's disappearance? I'm going to be watching for your answers down below. Hey, and as we approach the holidays, please consider picking up my 2 newest books, Deceived, an investigative memoir of the Zion Society cult, and She Knew No Fear. You can get signed copies with a special bundled price by visiting our website at profilingevil.com. And if you found this video to be interesting and educational, I hope you'll take a moment and hit that like and subscribe button. Make sure you're ringing the bell so you get the notifications. Thanks again for supporting us, folks, and we'll see you all soon at the next crime scene.
All right, everybody, that's Profiling Evil. Go on to YouTube Q to get the said information. Thank you so very much. Can't find what I'm looking for. I'm going to see. I want to recap anything pertaining to these crazy people. It's just sad. Very, very sad. So I've brought you information here. By WJHL, what is the Cornbread Mafia? I've also brought you who the Cornbread Mafia is from Wikipedia if you need verification. I brought you this Kentucky crime news and Profiling Evil, 3 sources of said information. Trying to see if there's anything else. Well, let's check these people out right here. 11:45. Let's see what they're talking about. Bickett and Boo, Cornbread Mafia founders talk history and hemp. Let's just go all out with the Cornbread Mafia. Yeah, I'm using my TV. I don't do the computer thing. You all know I'm old school, honey. So we're just going to see what they got to say on this right here. See, these people have been feeding the information pertaining to Summer Wells. Stay woke.
For what, 2 months now? Yes, sir. And aches and pains, sleeping better, lost some weight. I mean, if there's so many benefits to this oil.
Thank you, Denise.
It's
old school, baby.
No, yet. If you have arthritis,
it's old school setup.
Sleeping issues.
Thank you all so much.
But it helps.
My lights, I'm looking kind of dim right now. Sorry about that.
What we are saying it's a natural remedy for things that may occur. And I use it. I've used it since we first started growing hemp. Right. Personally, I've used it ever since we first started growing it. And it's a natural remedy. It's, like I said, it's been around for thousands of years, and it's something that ours is about as organic as you can get. It's made not hardly anything put in it except the product.
That's awesome. It's good stuff. My second bottle, and I can only say good things about it. So y'all putting out quality products. Now, where can we go and buy this stuff?
You can get it at bicketandboone.com for sure online, but of course Pat's Pharmacy, we always give a shout out to Pat's, and one of the first pharmacies. Swisher Low Pharmacy, Ben's Pharmacy.
I'm gonna pause to see when this was uploaded. This was uploaded July 1st, 2021.
44 seconds. Pause.
This is Bickett and Boone, Cornbread Mafia founders talk history and hemp with 2 shots on a barrel podcast.
One of the dispensary, Nancy Roberts, in
July 2021.
UNS.
Suggestions, bro.
Just a lot of places carry it, but we're small batch. We're like small batch whiskey. We're not out to sit there and put it in every store around. Right.
Well, it's hard to believe it because of where they live. That's why it's hard to believe.
We grow a small patch of CBD plants. We make a small batch of CBD oil.
Yeah, Moonshine Roundtable, yes.
Is everybody at this table currently taking this oil? Because if you're not, you're in trouble.
There you go.
Guys, it's really good for you. It's, like I said, organic, and y'all do things right here in Raywood. So good stuff on that.
Thank you.
And so the cool thing about your books, it is honest to God, it's true story because you lived what is in your books.
So all the rest of you guys.
Yeah.
Jimmy, Johnny, Bobby Joe, Dick Cameron, Red Hog, and to a smaller extent.
I don't know what he's talking about.
I'm not there.
Yeah.
Oh man. Fred Hogg.
But even today, it's kind of all come full circle.
Yeah.
We're all here together, and I guess
That's the main thing.
Unfortunately, we're all here today. I
Yeah.
guess looking back.
Well, one of the stories I remember from the book, Fred Hogg, you bailing out, didn't you bail out of the car? You and how the heck would you survive that? I mean, you're on Joe Keith is on a high-speed chase. I'm like, how in the hell do you even try to live on being able to get away from that? But you did.
I can see it like yesterday.
Oh.
We went around this, Kansas, like a square mile, gravel, with this Barney Fight cop behind us. Joe sat in front.
I see whiskey on the table.
But we just left twice. We had to get off the road. Well, we got
I see whiskey on the table. Y'all don't know nothing about us Southerners. I don't know, Maria. We'll see, baby.
I'm Joe and
Dee Dee be nice. Prayer circle. It is prayer. We're going to pray over the whiskey. He got beat up and he's at that table. That's what would happen. They took him out back.
It was a lot of fun. I don't have no regrets. Now, I hate the fact that the U.S. government legalized the pot. Old Bob Joe here. He probably got all that citizen from pot, and then legalized it. Bullshit.
A lot of them, right? Exactly.
Everybody,
Yeah, bullshit.
So how old were you when all this, when you got kicked in the ass in the car and fell out? How old were you?
About 38, Bob Joe.
I don't know, you're 75 now.
I think about 38. I got out about 49, about 59. I don't know. Anyway, I lose memory of all this shit. But anyway,
Right.
kind of foggy. What did I used to say? Onward through the fog? You say it all. Yeah, onward through the fog. I tell you what, I have no regrets on it. I hate it because everybody did all this time. Jimmy, Johnny, Dickie, Bob Joe, me. We did a lot of time, and it wasn't right.
It's not.
No, it's not.
It's not right.
It's not right.
It wasn't
Yeah.
right.
For marijuana.
You know what? It's all good. But the difference is.
So he's telling you they all did prison time for manufacturing, selling of marijuana.
Well, some people didn't know because those laws are messed up.
Yeah, well, sure they are.
Yeah.
But there's two ways looking at yourself.
Yeah.
You look at yourself as a victim way.
Reese, be nice.
Right.
Most of these guys look themselves as survivors.
That's true.
I think one thing.
You all are horrible.
Well, thank you.
They get it out.
And thank you for the moonshine, man. And we'll have some fun. So Johnny, one of the things that regardless, and you are a legend, which brings up a question. Number one is when people say you're a legend, how do you think about that? But more importantly, when people talk about Johnny Boone, the overriding thing that I hear people talk about
Head
is
honcho.
how good you were and are to people. But what is it? Is that a true, when people say, oh, he's the most humble guy, he's all about helping people, that's you, isn't it?
Maria, come on now.
Go circle got everything.
Stop. Yeah, they might play bingo.
I'd like to go ahead and make a comment on Johnny Boone while I'm here. I've known Johnny since I was 17, 16. His son Jeff and me, we grew up together. And Johnny Boone is a good person. And they're like Johnny said, everybody around this table is. They've never done anything bad. And for the federal government to give them that kind of time for a plant that is now legal in most of the United States, and unfortunately not in Kentucky, is just ridiculous. And Johnny, just like his son, best people ever.
Good stuff. Johnny, it's fun to hear stories. Do you have any kind of story on Red Eye that you could tell us? I mean, because you know that.
Well, breaking the rules.
Yeah. Nothing that is real bad, but it's something to make you blush a little bit. You got any?
Johnny Boone.
So, Big Hammer, we've heard many funny stories about the young man sitting next to
You see, Johnny Boone didn't talk. Stay woke.
Yeah, go ahead.
Story, Fred Hogg was talking about, when I was.
Dejohnny Boone didn't speak. You see how they jumped and said, start talking about stories told. Johnny Boone didn't speak of nothing.
He decided to make a pass back through there and said, tell us about that, Bobby.
I find it funny he wasn't talking in the beginning of the video since his name has been mentioned. Johnny Boone knows better. I ain't saying nothing. Not like Don Wells. Walkie talkie. That ain't doing nothing.
I had a boy with me. Anyway, I got the lights cut off. I drive back to this dog park. And looking at the house on the property with no lights on, so the house is abandoned as usual. But anyway, I come back down the road and there's a car, Ford V8 Interceptor Special that they like to drive,
Who's that, these guys?
No, that'd be the police in Canada. And so this boy's with me. I told him, I said, well, that's the law. We didn't have no lights on. Of course, they turned their lights on, come out right after us. And I said, well, I think they're going to try to pull us over. He said, well, just stop. I said, I don't think that's in this agenda. Stop it. They was looking for me more places in Kansas at the time. And so off we go. And he's driving in the passenger side. I'm in a Toyota Corona. He's running about 75 or 80 mile an hour between miles.
That's moving that four-cylinder pretty hot and heavy.
Anyway, I kept chasing, they kept chasing, I kept running. I told them, I said, we got to get on these gravel roads. So I told them, I said, scoot over here in the middle. I said, and when it gets to 0.8 of a mile, I'm going to tell you when to start counting. And so when I said, count. He said, you're at 0.8. I just locked it up. Slid in sideways because I couldn't, every time I hit my brakes, they did theirs too. And so we was going just as fast as it could go. Well, we got on that dirt out bottom. Of course, they couldn't see nothing but dust. And So we come over a hill on the dirt roads, a lot of dirt roads in Kansas and gravel. We come over the hill, I lock it up and slide. Leave gravel tore up over the place, and I let off the brakes. Drive right on off the hill and just cut up in the guy's backyard. And park, cut the lights off, here they come. But when they see him slide march, they slide. They back up and they take a left. So while they was taking the left, went on that way, I got in the trunk and jerked all the taillights out. I thought if they chase the next time, then I ain't gonna see no brake lights flashing. And we drove, I went right back the road that they went, drove out in Field Park. And we come around and said, he said, well, what time are you going to leave? I said,
what? Where the sheets? Because ain't no women or black people.
The only thing that can catch us is a radio. And I said, we're not going to get caught for no radio tonight.
That's awesome, man.
And so we didn't get caught there.
Hello, Justice. Thank you for joining me. My light keeps jumping on and off. I don't know what's going on with this camera. Sorry about that. All righty. That's sad information.
Advertisement 16 seconds.
That was commentary with the infamous Johnny Boone sitting there, and he didn't utter a word. They asked him to tell a story, and he would not. They jumped to. You can tell it was edited. It was cut. He didn't want to say anything. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. I brought you commentary in this evening pertaining to who Cornbread Mafia is, who they are, rather. Law enforcement doesn't believe they have anything to do with this. I brought you commentary with WJHL interviewing a expert, law official expert, who doesn't think it has anything to do, Cornbread Mafia has anything to do with the disappearance of Summer Wells. Please go back to the beginning of this video to get the sources of the said information. Johnny Boone, not Moon. Y'all stop it. This is just sad that these bio donors refuse to do what they need to do to tell the truth pertaining to where their child is. They don't want to tell us where their child is. Where is Summer? Where is she? And that's what we want to know is where is she? I don't want to see that. I ain't on that today. Well, my remote don't want to work. Let's see. I don't want to play Dr. Phil because he don't like nobody talking about him. Check this out, Summer Wells and these pictures. Look at these alarming pictures. I just found this in the queue. I posted it to my community page today. It's very creepy pictures of this guy. I don't know why he's going pictures of children. Very strange, 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 strange. Very strange. And this is a clip I played for you all today. The web extra, What is the Cornbread Mafia Part 1. Brought you all that. Let's play this right here. Let's see what they have to say. This was uploaded a day ago.
Issued by the TBI for a missing 5-year-old girl.
Her parents trying to prove their innocence. They turned to social media for help, but online bullies began accusing them of having something to do with her disappearance.
The guys who run organized crime around you worried about them at all?
Oh, they questioned him, and he has an alibi.
You all are a mess.
You know, what about those fellows that live around the Cornbread Mafia? Well, Cornbread Mafia.
That's what we call them.
I have no idea. I've heard about some hillbilly mafia.
See Donald eyes raised up. I don't know what you're talking about. Grandma, what big eyes you have.
I'm trying to steer clear from all these people just as much as possible. And I think they've kind of seen us as targets because they have.
I have no idea what you all are talking about with a hoax. I don't know what you're saying.
All of my mechanic tools at one time. You know, when they knew we were gone. They knew me and her were together. Did you just hang on?
You guys put any kind of security or anything in place?
No, we don't have any kind of security
in the country. You know,
your child's missing, but you don't have any security at your house.
Those are tough questions.
No, I'm being interrogated again, and I don't want to do this anymore. Yes, I do.
We'll stop. I want you to feel comfortable.
No, and I want to go home.
Hands inside. Yeah, that's how he's
Okay. Okay. She wanted to go home. Well, you can't go home. You're in Kansas. You can't go home, honey. You flew out there.
Okay, this is right after you asked about the Cornbread Mafia, and she had the response that we saw, and now she's fleeing the scene.
Yes. So she starts
Denise,
before
stop.
she flees the scene by doing something that we refer to as the transfer in a true crime workshop, and that's making yourself unavailable. Whether it's doing this or emotional or something to escape, she's already escaped.
Okay.
It's just a matter of getting out of that wire.
I'll check it all out.
This contrasts their body language. Don looks oblivious to all of this. He's trusting us and paying attention to us. She's not. Typically in pre-confession, their body will open up, and that's when you close. That's when you go after. We wondered.
Now, when my producer asked the Wells for a tour inside their home, we better understand what happened the day that Summer went missing. Candace refused. Then she changed her mind and let us into the basement, but only after they had time to clean it. But a month after Summer went missing, Candace
should have been clean.
Chris
The basement should have been clean.
Of the interview room for a home tour. Let's take a look at.
You've been trying to get your kids back. The basement should have been clean.
I watched her walk in there.
When they took your kids, your basement should have been clean.
I walked up, I said, quiet. And he looked at me and said, watch this, I'll be right back. And that's when I walked back over to my mom's.
Okay.
And I was fixing her breasts and stuff like that. And I said, well, Mom, I got to go back over with the kids. And that's when I come back into the house.
Okay.
With the boys.
Okay.
She lives there, but she's pointing. Like she's a stranger. I went over there to my mom's house. I went over there to my mom's house.
Then three were sitting right here, a girl with her eyes glued to the TV like always. And I said, boys, where's your sister at? Well, she just went downstairs going to play. So I went over here right there. And this is where the stairs are.
Okay.
It's actually down under there.
Oh, down into her.
Yes, Judy. Details.
Oh, okay, in the basement.
Yeah, in the basement.
Well, this makes sense now, see?
And then I yelled, I said, Summer, Summer. And she didn't. And I listened for a minute, I didn't hear nothing. So I went like this, because this is how I would get down here.
Yep.
I don't know if you know.
You know, I gotta be
Denise, you're killing me.
To get in there. Can we come in from the other side?
Well, we can, but it makes more sense if you went this way.
Okay, I'll follow you.
Who the hell would crawl down there to go down there? I'm going downstairs.
My husband's 6 foot. I know if he could fit in that.
This. Oh my gosh. Way to go.
This is my husband's room.
Okay.
You're over here, Norm. It's a mess in here.
That's all right.
But this is where Summer and little Layla was.
In the interview, you asked if someone there's a door to her room downstairs. It's a basement room, but there's an outside door.
Correct.
You asked, could you hear if someone had opened that door?
She said, yes, you can clearly.
Okay, so we have footage of her opening that door. Let's take a quick look at the door.
I don't recall if this was locked or not. I don't recall that.
Okay.
But I know, it's part of it. But I know I did come out here and said, Summer. And sometimes she'll sit right here.
She'll sit right
There was
here.
a tiny squeak to the door, and that was it.
Back humped over. She'll sit right here like a fucking man.
Through that
Excuse my language.
and around through
Like a guy.
that
She's a dude.
room with the television on. What Candace says is that They were planting flowers. Yes, sir. She had a piece of candy. Yes, sir. They washed their hands, had a piece of candy. And then she says she walked her up the stairs to the house, inside, handed her off to the boys for supervision, that the boys said she went downstairs. Candace went back outside to help her mother with a brace and came back in, and all of the...
Wait a minute. I got to say something. Tracy, you're crazy. You said it takes the fun out of bedtime. You got that damn right. Hey, it's time for bed. Hell no, I'm sleeping upstairs. I ain't getting ready to crawl down no rabbit hole. Go to no damn bed. I'm dead. Freddie, I'm dead. Y'all are killing me in the chat. Wait a minute, Tracy said, takes the fun out of bedtime. We got to go down there to go to bed? Hell no. I'm sleeping outside. Lady, I'm sleeping upstairs. I can't.
That happened within 2 to 3 minutes.
What she says.
I'm saying what she said. She called for Summer, no answer, and she immediately called Dawn on the phone and said Summer's missing.
I think she will tell you that she didn't. We got something.
Denise, please stop.
After she
You're gonna make me pee on
she
myself.
crawled around under beds. She did this. She did that. She put the boys
At
out
the bus. Dee Dee, how you gonna get to the bus stop? From back there.
So she went on alert in 3 to 5
Y'all,
minutes.
please stop. Y'all are killing me.
Psychologically speaking, I have to tell you that's inconsistent with everything I'm seeing. Because everything I'm seeing does not tell me that I have a hypervigilant mom on my hands here. I have a hard time believing that she would walk her up the stairs and hand her off lovingly to 3 babysitting brothers. Go back and help her mother and be back inside in 2 to 3 minutes calling for her dog.
Will y'all please leave me alone?
Just timeline doesn't work right. I don't believe she could get out there and back in 2 to 3 minutes.
Y'all are
I don't
horrible.
believe she called for her in 2 to 3 minutes and went on alert in under 5 minutes and started a search. Or that she would call Don, and given Don's history with law enforcement, that his first reaction would be call the cops. Because every time the cops have been out there before that, it wasn't to serve and protect.
Exactly, Tiny. They're not trying to get the kids
arrest and
back.
detain.
Exactly.
I'm not saying that Candace is involved here. I'm not saying Don's involved here. I'm just saying it just doesn't add up to me.
Now,
And
this
when
is
things
what
don't add
Brooks
up,
was
I
saying
don't
on Crime Lines and Lies.
If you have any information on Summer's
With the panel,
please call the Tennessee
saying don't add up. Day 2, you're telling them, I don't think you're involved. What's the truth?
Dr. Phil here. If you're smart, you will subscribe to the behavior panel.
Up next, unknown artery murder trial.
Okay. I'm going to cut this jukebox off. Let's get it crunk. They said they locked all 4. They're not trying to get the kids back. I agree. She handed Summer to the perpetrators and using the kids as an excuse in that dungeon. What to shovel? CPS won't give the kids back. No, I don't see them giving the children back. No, I don't see them giving the children back. I'm going to say this in this live. I'm 1 hour in. I don't see that the Cornbread Mafia has anything to do with this. I think it's just a matter of that was a time she decided to put on the waterworks and perform like she did when she talked to Mary, the stepsister of Donald Wells. We do know that she's a liar. He's a liar. She lied about him being taken away by the feds. So if you can lie and put on the theatrics with a camera rolling that your husband was taken by the federal government, you can do the same on the Dr. Phil show. That's how I feel about Candy Bly. Mr. Wells has been orchestrating this farce from day one because he knows that Candy cannot talk or speak appropriately. So he does all the talking for her. Yes, he slipped up and said we weren't paying attention. Another pivotal piece of information. Well, you weren't there, so how could it be a we? We should never be on your tongue because you weren't there. So, Donald, were you there when Summer went missing? Did Summer even make it back to the house? Let's start at the beginning. Because as I've told you all, the beginning of the story is where the evidence is, where the truth lies. So Donald Wells, were you at the house when Summer went missing? Did Summer ever make it back to the house? Hell, white boy, did you even go to damn work? Probably not. Probably not. Did you go to work? Were the boys left alone unattended without supervision by an adult? Why would they be left alone if they were? What was the main reason for going outside the house on that fateful June 15th? Was it because the grandmother needed someone to aid her from the hospital? Who goes to the hospital? Far out? Just saying. Is that the only local hospital? Was there somewhere else she could have gone, such as a clinic? Does she have a doctor at that hospital? See, those are the questions that you ask. Where is her physician? You all never asked that. I've never heard, not one of you ever asked that in the chat on anyone's channel. Where is Grandis's physician? Does she have a local physician? Stay woke. You see, you don't ask the pivotal questions. Does Grandis have had a physician in that general area? Grandma. Could be for pain medicine. I'm going to say it again. Does Grandis have had a physician at that time, June 15th, that area? Did she go to the nearest hospital for that reason, to get painkillers? Is Grandis a pill popper? Did she get it to make money? We can go on and put it on out there because we don't know who we're talking about. We don't know these people, okay? Was this a money-making scheme? We have a lot of TennCare fraud here in this state, the great state of Tennessee. A lot of people have been arrested for TennCare fraud, for, as we call it, doctor shopping, going from one doctor to the next. They will put your name in the database. So when you decide to go over here to Bubbaville to get some more medicine, see a doctor, your name will come up and you will not be seen. Ting. So have these people been shopping for doctors to get narcotics, such as pills? And I don't mean to make accusations that they are pill shoppers, but it is obvious that Candy has been on something during her interviews and live phone calls. She looks doped up. So it's either narcotics and or alcohol, where she acts as if she is subdued. But I don't believe in a blue van. I don't believe in a lie detector test that they pass. I don't believe in a Cornbread Mafia. I don't believe in any of that. And I don't believe that somebody heard somebody screaming, hollering that night. I don't believe in any of that. Night, day, whichsoever. These people are grand schemers. When you have people who break the law and have broken the law continuously, they have an extensive past with law enforcement. They know how to lie. They know how to scheme. They know how to manipulate. They know how to signify. Come on with it, Queen. So you're going to learn how to lie because you stay in trouble all the damn time. So people who lie, it will come easy to them. They know how to Johnny on the spot come up with something to say, add something, take away something, because they've been doing it their entire lives. Donald Wells, he fits the bill. He stayed in trouble, most of his life. So he knows how to lie. That's why he doesn't let Candy speak. That's why he's been the grand poobah of this storyline pertaining to Summer Wells. He likes to talk because he knows he is a better speaker than his wife. She's uneducated. That is obvious. Candy is uneducated. I won't doubt that she even finished high school because she doesn't talk as if she can even speak appropriate grammar. She doesn't speak appropriate grammar. And Donald Wells, he knows this. What is the truth to June 15th? Was Summer ever brought back from the swimming hole? The photographs, is that of a dead child inside of that said back seat of that car? Was this an orchestrated murder of a baby girl? Picking up H. Was this orchestrated to have an eyewitness that he saw a child in the presence of the mother and the grandmother? Was the grandmother present at the swimming hole? You have no verification that she was there. Haven't you understood what's been going on? These people have orchestrated this story from the jump. It's been he said, she said, Don and Candy said. Not Pookieville, not law enforcement, FBI, TBI. It has only come from the words of Donald and Candy. Of going here, going there, coming home, planting flowers, walking a child over to the main house. I called for her. She didn't answer. Don't you see what's been going on? This appears orchestrated from the jump. My source tells me that the child was dumped after the swimming hole. That's what's been told to me by someone who's involved in the case. Is this true? I do not know, but it wouldn't shock me none that she was dumped after the swimming hole. Whatever happened, whether it was an orchestrated death or an accident, covering up abuse of a corpse, discarding of a child, I do believe she never made it back to that residence. And the key lies with the boys. What did the boys see? Because you see, they're never going to tell us, DHS or law enforcement, anything about the children because they are underage. But that's where the truth lies. Because she spun this web with her husband that she made it home with the child. So what did the boys see? Did they see Summer Wells enter into the house and down the rabbit's hole? Because what will be interesting is if we find out somebody decides to tell us that they never saw Summer Wells. You see, everything is in the details. That's why you have to stay woke. The beginning of the story is where the truth lies. From the moment the parent opens their mouth, that is where your truth lies. You all have been in the chat talking about a hoax. I do not know. You know I do not stay in the know of things that go on YouTube, Facebook. I don't have that kind of time. I will get the said information, then I'll double back and bring you the said information. But in the end, haven't you figured out the story has never been about Summer Wells? It was never about her. That is the reason why she is no longer missing and possibly not alive. Because she was unimportant. She was a casualty of war. A casualty of two motherfuckers that didn't give a fuck about their baby or their children. And I don't give a damn about what two misfits have to say about anything. You're neither here nor there. You're 1%ers of 10 billion plus people on top of this dirt. What you say means nothing to me. It never has. The subject is Summer Wells. We have no proof of validity that the child ever went missing on June 15, 2021. There isn't only but one person to verify two, basically, that Summer Wells was in that vehicle on June 15th, and that is Allie and Boy H. If it wasn't for those two going to Chris Madonna, I wouldn't even believe that the child was even around, alive on June 15th. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Because in the end, the story is about he said and she said. I said I took her here. I said I dropped her off. I said I saw her in the car. I said I sat with her. I said I was with her at the swimming hole. I went up to the car and saw her in there. She wouldn't let me touch the baby. And something else I'm going to mention in this live as well. When I went to this person's channel and saw those pictures of some guy posting said pictures of children with their hair cropped and shaved, I did find that information baffling. Please go to my community page to see the said video from somebody else's network. Very creepy information. I don't know what's truth or not. I'm not here to argue about what somebody said on their channel. I don't get down like that. I'm not getting ready to waste my time with that BS. But what I find strange is all these children, yes, with their hair shaved, cropped off like grown-ups. Why? Is this a Southern thing, something that they like to do up there in Hollerville? But I don't believe in shaving kids' hair and doing the crop for a girl. It's unkempt looking. It's not pretty for a girl child. Okay? Because Summer went from shaved on one side, hair hanging down like a bob, then poof, no damn hair. Why? Was it because of cooties, crabs, lice? What are we saying? But in all that information in that woman's video, I came to see a post from Allie, which I thought was interesting. Yeah, we're going to go way, way back to the beginning. Allie was sitting there talking about her daughter missing. True, okay? No disrespect. What I find interesting in that said commentary is she said, me, such and such, and my wifey. Whoops! Wait a minute, Queen. Don't do it to him. See, that's what I had thought all along. Allie, you like women. Is that really what's been going on between you and Candy? You two been messing around because Candy acts like a man. And I showed people pictures where you was on that porch hooping and hollering the day an organization was trying to come get H to take him back to New York because the father hired these people to come pick up the son. And it looked like you had something in your crotch. Are you gay, Allie and Candace Wells? Were you two having an affair? And that is what the beef is about. It ain't got a damn thing to do with H smoking, chiefing, drinking drinks. You two were entangled together. I got clarification that you are gay or bisexual from that woman's video. It is on my post. If you need verification for anything I'm saying in this live, please go to my community page. See, I knew it was something funky going on all along because Queen is woke. I stay woke. I stay woke. And I probably would have caught this information months ago, but I don't go to everybody's channel. How can I go to everybody's channel that puts up said information? Okay? This is my page, baby, my page, my community page. When I watched this woman's video and I saw Allie speaking about her daughter missing, and she put up a Facebook post thanking the people who helped her find her daughter, she said, my wifey. And then it hit me. Damn, Allie, it's what I thought all along. You like women. So possibly that's been your beef with Candy. The Candy was not just your friend. Perhaps she was your lover. She was your lover. You see, I know that you had a winded conversation with her on June 15th outside. And I know you're going to try to ask, well, how would you know that, Angela? Because I know. Because I was told. because I was told. So I'm going to ask you, on June 15th, when Candy pulled up to drop off boy H, what was the winded conversation in relations to between yourself and Candy? What were you all talking about? What were you upset about? See, I've always known. Exactly. Why did you stay with Candy? Good question. Soul Survivor's asking that in the chat. Allie, were you and Candy lovers? The issue of the friends. Donna Wells mentions that she chose bad friends. Let's go there because that is the topic of my video. Cornbread Mafia and Candy choosing bad friends and the boogeyman. The boogeyman doesn't exist, so we can scratch him out of this live. So then that leads to bad choices of friends. You see, Candy doesn't have any real friends because as I told you last night in my live where I didn't become emotional, you got to be a friend to get a friend. So to cry in your live, Candy, on October 30th that you don't have friends, oh, I wanted her as my friend, blah, blah, blah. You should have known better. You've knocked off that baby and you actually think that somebody would aid you. You honestly think these YouTubers are your friends. You honestly think they're trying to be your friend. They're only being your friend to get information pertaining to what the hell you and Donald have been doing back there in Hollowville. Ain't nobody your friend. And that white lady Dale that you brought up in front of the camera, why would you do that? Where did you meet Dale at? How long have you known Dale? Hell, does Dale like women? No disrespect to you, Dale, but we're going to call a spade a spade. Anybody that fools with Donald and Candy, they get burned. Or they end up burning them. So what is the 411 with Dale? Where was Dale sleeping when she came and appeared in front of the camera? I was thinking about that last night. In one of the children's beds upstairs. Clean sheets and clean comforters. Do you have clean sheets and comforters for your guests, Miss Dale? I'm going to keep it 100. Donna, who are you speaking of, her friends? Why are you just now mentioning that 4.5 months in? 5 months. Her friends. So now what are you saying? Someone that Candy knows kidnapped your child. So now we're changing the narrative. Candy's friends took the baby. So what are you saying? She handed her child off to somebody she knows. You see, that's why I told you all in my live last night that Candy is a lonely individual. She's unhappy. She's miserable. So is Donna Wells. They are substance abusers. They are miserable. They are evenly yoked into mayhem. You all will never be happy because you don't know how to be happy. What is the truth pertaining to June 15th? Did Summer Wells go missing on June 15th, or was she missing beforehand? Could everybody be in the pot lying pertaining to June 15th? Was this an orchestrated murder of a 5-year-old child? And everyone is aiding these two monsters with this narrative that she was kidnapped. There's no way in hell, I believe, somebody went back on that barren road and stole your child because the setup is improbable. I wouldn't risk tearing up my car to steal your child, let alone break my fucking ankle to steal your baby, whether I was a pedophile or not. That's not how most pedophiles maneuver. They want an easy in and an easy out. And your house is not an easy in for a pedophile perpetrator. Bring me the heads of those who stole Summer Wells. That is Candy, Bly, Wells, and Donald Wells. I will not believe anything else until law officials bring me somebody else that's the culprit. Now they're saying they don't even know if indeed the car has any bearing on the disappearance of Summer Wells. And they put out this bolo pertaining to this car. It's not a suspect, but we do know law enforcement will lie about the description of a person and a car. It was done with a DC sniper. They told the public to look out for a certain vehicle, and they lied to the public about the description of the car and the person. They never told the public that indeed they were looking for that person as the suspect. So I believe perhaps you know something about the damn Tacoma truck, but you're lying, telling the public that it is a witness when indeed it is possibly the perpetrator. You see, I don't go by rumors. I don't go by any of that. I go by what the parents have told the public and what the law officials have said from day one. That's why I don't hop around on social media from channel to channel what he said and she said. Because in the end, that's all this story is about pertaining to Summer Wells. It's he said and she said and Pookie said and Bubba said. But there have been no verifications or validations pertaining to anything that has come out of the mouths of Donald and Candy Wells. So that's why I don't go run to somebody's channel to hear a damn thing somebody got to say. And I don't give a fuck if it's from Candy, Donald, a stepsister, the neighbor, Allie H. It means nothing to me because it's neither here nor there. Bring me a source and back it up with a receipt. And nothing has been backed up with a receipt. 5 months later. Some think that there will be arrests soon. Well, we've been saying that day one, month 2, month 3, now month 5. Will we be looking at a situation like Cal City? 5 months, 8 months, still no damn suspect. Suspects. It has been said that when children go missing, 9 times out of 10, it is the family member or somebody that they know took the child. I agree. Small percentage, it is a random person that kidnapped the child. And you add in the demographics such as where these people live, hell no. Ain't no stranger walked up there, crawled up there, drove up there, dog trail driveway, and stole Summer Wells. Because I'd have to know where she was. I'd have to know she was there and exactly her location to get in and to get out to take her. And that means if I did go, I had inside help. Did you hear that? I had inside help to kidnap, take Summer Wells. Donald and Candy Wells, did you give your child away for felonious reasons? Money, drugs, or you were tired of raising her? She became too rambunctious, too much to deal with. You wanted out. 1. 2, you were tired of dealing with her. 3, drug debt or CPS is coming. You were afraid they would find out something pertaining to the children. But see, as I told people, that makes no sense because it doesn't really matter who they were abusing. All children would have been removed irregardless. So it doesn't matter if you think it's an essay situation with Summer. You have no proof. And in the end, all children would have been removed if it was true she was being sexually abused by any persons in that said house. All children would have been removed. Who are the friends that you are so concerned with? Once again, we have heard that she picks up strangers at gas stations, which goes back to what I've said. She is lonely. She is a lonely creature. She thrives, craves company, camaraderie with someone. Could it be your friends? You want to put it off on Candy? Who are your friends and associates? Who do you hang with, talk with? You don't have any buddies, Donald Wells? You don't go get drunk with somebody out there in East Tennessee? I beg to differ. Everybody has somebody they talk to, eat with, drink with. And you and this lady are known to drink, probably toot, get high. We just don't know about them. So why are you putting it off on Candy now? But we said you would do that eventually you would pass the buck and throw Candy under the bus, which you have done by saying some of her friends. She's picked bad people to be around. But who are you to judge who Candy has succumbed to as bad friendships? You are no better than anybody she has picked as a friend because you are not a decent man as a husband and a father. You've cared nothing for Candy or those children. You are a narcissist and a sociopath. You are a clout chaser. You crave attention, and it is not normal behavior that you have exhibited since your child went missing. You've only spoken about yourself since Summer went missing. You don't talk about your child, girl child, or your children, which tells me a lot about who you are as a person. And you sit up on social media calling people out of their government names that they mammy gave to them. Well, how about we talk about your stinking ass? Who the hell are you to talk about anybody and call somebody a bitch and a damn nigga? You got a lot of damn nerve. And anybody that rides or die with you, you are cut from the same cloth, and you are also a bottom feeder. A racist, a clown. I make no excuses when it comes to the children. There is no straddling the fence with children. You either want them or you don't. But I don't aid no motherfucker that fucks with kids. So you can call everybody a nigga, a bitch. Say it like you mean it. Say it like you mean it. You see, you forgot one thing, Donald. You on borrowed time, you and Candy. And all this snipping and sniping you've been doing on social media. We do know where you live. We do know the road you're on, and we know how to come up that driveway, gangster style. So you're the fool. You talk a lot of junk. State took your kids because you were being threatened. Hell no. You know that's not why your children were taken. You and Candy are unfit, and you're nasty as hell. You're disgusting human beings. And you didn't offer your children the best life that you could. And you could have lived better up on that hill. You chose not to. It was a choice. And since your children have been gone, including Summer Wells, you've done everything in your power to be a grown-up ass. You and your wife both together. Making utter fools out of yourself on social media. And you've proven to me that you never cared for your children. And you never did right by your children. And you have made this case into a circus. And everything that law enforcement has come out of the mouths of you and Candy Wells. A bunch of bullshit. Because you two are behind the disappearance of Summer. That is why the TBI gave the statement they had nothing to give us about a kidnapping, abduction, because you two are the culprits. And you have the nerve to sit up on a live and tell Candy to forgive somebody. Well, who's forgiving you for how you treated your children and this farce that you spun on social media and to the news of the disappearance of Summer Wells? Who's going to forgive you? God only. He's the only one that can save you and Candy Wells. You two are misfits, and you're disgusting, and you are vile, and you have put on the grandest performance of your lifetime. But I see through all of that. I see through all of that. Candy, do yourself a favor. File for divorce and go live your life if you can. And possibly you won't be able to do that because you'll probably be indicted for murdering your child. You two are sad to me and sick and disgusting and disturbing, all wrapped in one. You have been using people, taking advantage of people who are gullible and green, people who have similar minds as yourselves. You have used people, knowing that you're behind the disappearance of Summer Wells. And you've abused those boys as well. And I feel sorry for them because children don't choose their parents. None of us chose our parents. And we didn't ask to come here. Hello, Carl. Candy, Bly Wells, Donald Wells is going to sell you to the highest bidder. You better wake your ass up before it's too late. Do you understand what I'm saying to you, homegirl? Get your thumb out your ass and tell the truth where we can find your baby. Because Donald has already started the ball rolling to fold on you. So you keep going live and video chatting with these YouTubers and letting them film you and making a fool out of your ass to get views and likes. It will not turn out the way you think, sweetheart. You are going to be fucked royally. You keep dicking around with Donald Wells. He is not your husband. He is not your friend. He is not your lover. He is the enemy. And you're the enemy as well. Because you're riding this ride all the way to the very end. But what you don't realize is that you too are going to fall by the wayside. And all these so-called friends, YouTubers, they will be nowhere around. If they fool with you, it'll still be for likes and views for their channels. Yes, you can bet on that. Where is Summer Wells? When are you two going to tell us the truth of what you did to that baby? You've changed your version 1,000 times. We can't even keep up with all the stories of running, hiking, walking, this, that, maroon car, blue van, blue truck, up the hill, down the hill, dog trail, over there. But yet you passed a lie detector test. I don't think so. There's no way you passed the test and you keep changing and adding things to the story. Where is your daughter? What did you do to Summer Wells? Stop the BS and tell us where that baby is. And just so you know, the state is never going to give you back them boys. Not now, not never. Because you won't sit still enough to do right to get them back. So keep on with the shenanigans on YouTube. Hoaxes, whatever the hell you got going on or whatever you done in the past 24 hours. Thank you. Thank you. Because you don't deserve those beautiful babies. And you did deserve Summer Wells. So I want to thank you. You're not getting them back. So keep buying your vodka, your Mountain Dews, because you're not getting them back. You ain't got to worry about buying no fucking towel to put down in the living room. Nowhere else. Let it go. Fold. You're not worthy of those children. You've never cried. You've never pled for Summer. You've never talked about her in the present tense. You've never called her name up until recently. And that leads me to believe you are the people who got rid of her for whatever reason. You know where she can be found, located, either alive or dead. You are behind the disappearance of Summer Wells. And you have done everything in your power, Mr. Wells, to hoodwink and bamboozle people pertaining to her disappearance, including the local news, Dr. Phil, YouTubers, the behavior panel, Chris Madonna, but the one person you have never fooled is Big Angie. I've been woke. I know your kind. I know that June 15, 2021 was a setup of the disappearance of Summer Wells, and Candy Bly Wells and Donald Wells were complicit in getting her gone. And that's the end of the story. If you want to donate to the channel, $BigAngie129 Cash App. I want to thank all the mods on deck and everyone for following the content and listening. God bless all of you. Stay safe. And basically, I think it is time that we stop talking about Candy and Donald Wells. It is redundant. It is never ending. It is now just, as we say, something to do in the meanwhile. They are not worthy. of conversation. They are buffoons and they are sick, and they could be better people if they chose to, but they refuse. So for those that ride the ride, talking about somebody's making money off of them, somebody's doing this, well, they're giving them a reason to make money off of them. They're giving us reasons to make videos. They're giving us reasons to talk about them and judge them because they are complicit to abusing their children and the disappearance of Summer Wells. You've never cared for your children. And you have made a mockery out of the local news, social media, and now a national platform as Dr. Phil. Have mercy on your soul, because you will have to stand account. And if you don't stand account in this life, you will in the next. And for your sake, I hope God is feeling mighty, mighty fine when you have to stand in judgment for what you've done in this life and how you've treated your children and what you did to Summer Wells and those boys. Hope God shows you favor, because there'll be no YouTube on the other side, TikTok on the other side, Facebook on the other side. They won't be there. There'll be no backup singers to aid you in your lives. Thank you for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans.